Okay, this is another episode of Tips and Tricks. The game that I'm going to give you 5 general useful tips and tricks for is going to be Link Between Worlds. Now, this game, these tips and tricks will basically just how to make the game easier. Okay. The first one is this. When you first start the game and you open up to where you can go into the low rule, not the dark world, low rule. Your best bet would be to do the dungeons that can get you that net you the master ore, which you can use to upgrade your master sword. Now there are 5 pieces in total. You get all of these in dungeons, okay? As a matter of fact, in my hero mode playthrough, I went and I got all the upgrades in the Dark World first, without even completing the dungeon. I just got the upgrades and then I left. So I had the best shield, the best, well, not the best shield, but the best, the second best armor, the best shield, and a fully upgraded Master Sword before I tackled any of the bosses. So that helped, believe it or not. So, you know, choose the order you want. And just as which leads me to tip number 2. Tackle the Desert Dungeon first. Tackle the Desert Dungeon and the Thieves Town dungeons first in the Dark World. It makes the game a lot easier. Because then you'll have the ability to lift heavy objects. And while you're in Thieves Town, which leads me to number 3. If you try to get the Zora Flippers first, you'll eventually run into a dude who steals a jewel from the Queen Zora, which makes her fat and ungainly. Like, it's called the Smooth Gem. It basically keeps her thin and trim, but without it, she gets all huge and eats and eats and eats. So basically, your best bet, once you start that quest chain, you'll have to buy it back from a shady merchant in Kakariko Village. And in order to catch this guy, you'll have to fuse with the wall behind him, way on the end, and walk behind him and sneak up behind him. Okay? And he'll apologize and, you know, say he won't do it anymore and give you the dash boots, which will now enable you to find the Mai-Mais, which leads me to my 4th hint. Mai-Mais. Finding Mai-Mais is a great way to beat this game, to make this game easier, okay? Upgrading weapons. Now, you can upgrade them any way you want. I chose to do the bow and arrows first, and then, you know, other stuff later, but do that, okay? Once you get all 100 Mai-Mais, this leads me to my final hint. You can get the Great Spin, which covers a huge area and takes out a lot of enemies. This is very useful for the final Tower of Treachery, which is basically where the Tower of Darkness was in the Dark World in Link to the Past. Basically, this tower is like 35 levels of incredibly tough enemies. But if you beat it twice, you get an upgraded bug net that spins faster and does lots of damage, and an upgraded lamp that does lots and lots of damage. If you can get point blank range on an enemy, it can kill them instantly. So it's nice. This concludes my tips and tricks for Link Between Worlds. If you'd like more tips and tricks, comment below, and I will go further in depth in Link Between Worlds in like in-depth strategies. But these are just general hints, tips and tricks. So there you go. Thank you. Have a good day.